Welcome to A House Around the Corner. I'm your host, Tricia Ziemer, and I'm here with Michael Fitzgerald, manager of the Brunswick Neighbourhood House. Welcome and thank you for joining me.
Pleasure to be here, Tricia.
Now, you have formed an extraordinary partnership.
Yes, the Brunswick Neighbourhood House is a partnership for the last 2 or 3 years with members of the Framlingham Aboriginal community, just out of Warrnambool. It's one of the oldest Aboriginal communities in the country, and in that partnership we help to coordinate and run a tour from Melbourne-based people into the community.
Now, we were lucky to go on that tour and meet two of your tour guides.
Yes, you're referring to Possum and his partner Kyreem. They're both incredibly passionate and proud of their community and the things that are occurring in the community. And that's really what the tour is about, is exposing people who have never had any contact with Aboriginal people, bringing those people into the daily life of Aboriginal society.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Join us as we learn about this community through the eyes of Possum and Kyreem.
Fram has been our home ever since first European contact. This is one big boundary from the Peak Morong or the Gunditj Mara people to the Kyreem Morong. My name is Jeffrey Clark Ugle, better known as Possum. I live here at Framlingham Aboriginal Community. I work for WARC Aboriginal Incorporation, conducting the tours here in the community of Fram and also in the forest. The Anglican Church, they were set up by the Border Protection Act. This is where they were employed to implement a different culture and a different belief. This is where they come in and start making people go to Sunday school, to churches on Sundays, to change the way of living, to change the way of dressing, to change the way of speaking. It had a big impact on our people. This impact was the beginning of our culture breakdown. The partnership with Brunswick Community House has evolved around an ex-employee who used to work in the community, now works there at Brunswick Neighbourhood House. He come to me, we were running the tours, we were working with school groups. He said it would be a great idea for city people to come to the country and get that experience, because we know ourselves that to look for an Aboriginal experience, a lot of people are going far and wide to find some places. They don't think there's much Aboriginal culture alive in Victoria, yet our culture is very alive, and it's got its own story to tell in a different way. And that's all Aboriginal people all across Australia.
My name is Kyreem Penrith. I am a Gunditj Mara Yorta Yorta woman, and I currently live on Framlingham Aboriginal community. WARC was created by Possum's family, which is the immediate family of his own, the Clark Mulbat Fram. They created it, I think, in about August 2008. That's when it was started. Things were slow moving then, obviously, just very new, and having to network and market the business itself. It was formed to create employment opportunities for Possum himself and his family group. That on the community wasn't much jobs, and Possum's very passionate about Aboriginal history and cultural tourism, and especially our own in the Western District, Gunditj Mara history. So he thought, well, why not create something that would be educational and something that he's passionate about and sharing with everybody else. So that's what I know it was created for.
So some of the things that we make our community a bit self-sufficient is that we have a community or a dairy farm, a part of the involvement in the community. We run beef cattle here in the community because we've got a number of acres of property. We have a culture business delivering culture tours with Brunswick, in partnership with Brunswick Neighbourhood House. We have a whole range of things trying to make a lot better and making things better for the kids for the future. We have a couple of IPA places, Indigenous protected areas, throughout the community, and these communities, varied by diversity in these properties, are very significant to us as Aboriginal people. On the tour, You'll get a rundown on Aboriginal culture, you'll learn more about Aboriginal artefacts, you'll learn about Aboriginal communities, Aboriginal people in general, to Aboriginal beliefs. You'll learn that we had customs, a way of living, and a whole lot more. So we do a bit of a walkabout in the community, going to certain sites, showing the sites, giving you a rundown on what these sites mean to us, and yeah, you know, you'll continue on. In the overnight camping, what's involved, it's in, you know, pitching your tents up in the forest, it's staying there. Last night we had a bit of a rain, that wasn't too bad, you know, that's part of all the camping experience. You know, it's setting up in the middle of the forest. The place where they camp is pretty important to us. This place where we set up people to camp is one of the old mission sites where the reserve was located before it was shifted a number of times. The site itself is a site where our name changes took place. Our name changes from our traditional names that we carried to the European names that we carry now. The campsite is right there where all that took place. So when they camp out, they have a bit of a bush tucker tasting with some kangaroo, some emu, or a bit of damper, or a bit of Neil. They'll listen to Dreamtime stories around the campfires, to participating into our dance performances. So, you know, we do a whole range of things. The message this tour really is trying to get across is all about reconciliation. Instead of the stuff that's been swept under the carpet in Australia's history, we're trying to bring it out to say, it did happen. Even though we can't change what's happened in the past, we can sure shape the future. So let's talk about these issues, let's set our agenda straight, and let's work towards a common goal. And that's reconciliation of understanding who we are, where we come from, and yeah, mainly that.
Trying to create employment opportunities and steering, you know, the kids onto the right track. And I know that's what Possum and myself have tried to do with our younger family members, and, you know, especially for our kids, being good role models for them, and, you know, bringing them up in a healthy environment, and, you know, showing that anything's possible. We've created, you know, WARC and started it from ground up, so, you know, making it happen and being happy with what you do and being happy where you are.
We want to see a brighter future for our kids. And, you know, and always a strong connection to the country as well.
But the first time I came...